Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today, we're going to be doing the long-awaited DFST Cannon tutorial. I'm also going to be talking a bit on how they work. So, for those who don't know, the DFST Cannon stands for Down-Firing Survival Update That Can Fire on the Move. Yes, that last one is kind of a stretch, but hey. And essentially what it is a honestly quite simple cannon. Now, one of the big things you are going to need is a glitch welded spud gun, preferably i.e. like a 36 power for what I'm using. I'm not going to be doing a tutorial on glitch welding at the moment. I might do one in the future, but if you are curious, there's probably other tutorials elsewhere, or you could always ask over on the Discord. So, first off, 36 power for our main power source. And have a single spud gun for the back. So in total this is technically a 37 power. And these two need to fire at the same time. So in this case I can just pull off of that logic back there. And now even though these are slightly offset, they are firing at the same time. So they will hit at the same game tick. But at the same time slightly different. So they hit at the same time, so they both transfer power. But because one's offset, they do two separate collision detections, which ensures that the round properly fires. And then even in the worst case, it will still fire out of the breech, but will fall shortly after. I might have to clarify that in a minute, but next thing we're going to do is grab a logic block, which I already had one in my inventory, I didn't realize, a piston, range 2, speed as fast as possible, and hook that up to our logic. Now the reason you want to hook the piston to the logic is because a piston that is not connected to the logic moves at a standard rate of speed. Once it's connected to the logic, then your range and speed settings come to account. Alright. And then that. This is where your round will connect, so we actually need to flip this whole cannon over. There we go, cannon's flipped over. And all that should be left is a fire button. And this goes to whatever logic you have for firing. And let's go ahead and load it. Now these cannons do use a very specific propellant, wires short, and there is a reason for that. I welded that upside down. One moment. There we go. So, when you place the wire short, you want to make sure it is towards the front of the block instead of the back of the block. Like that. Because if you do that, there's no placement, there's no attachment point on that side. There you go. And that is loaded. And fire. So, the reason you want to use the wires short like this is for a few reasons. One, it doesn't take up a full block space, so when loaded like this, it doesn't actually collide with those glitch welded spud guns. If it touches the glitch welded spud guns like this, sometimes you can have really bad lag issues or issues firing and other problems. So having that offset's really nice. Also, blocks and parts behave differently when destroyed, we've discovered. A lot of this research was done by Captain Bob, so I'm going to give him credit, give him a shout out. Yes. Basically, a block won't get destroyed if it's moving over a certain speed. However, a part almost always will. And that's the general use behind it. And this block is perfectly sized for the application, being 2 wide, 1 tall, and fire. Now, this is actually surprisingly easy to make an autoloader with, or 2 round at least. Once you start getting above 2 rounds, it can be slightly difficult. Range 2, speed full. And you can just do, nope, that's towards the back, towards the front, and you have a 2 round. There you go. And I've had some people ask me why the rounds themselves aren't stood up on end like the old cannons. And in theory, yes, you can make a shorter autoloader this way, but there is a specific reason for not doing this, one of which is height. These cannons are surprisingly tall, even though they may not appear it, because you have to have room for this piston to move through the front of your breech. So if I grab, say, an Atlas, here's an Atlas 3, there is this large gap here for those 4 pistons to fire through. So if you were to put the rounds like this, you'd have a 1, 2, 3, 4 tall, at minimum, breech. And the other reason is when done like this, game collisions are wonky, and sometimes these rounds will hit themselves and cause a detonation inside the breech. It's not always that case, but safety is also... Yep, there it goes. That's one of the issues that can happen. So, that is the DFST Cannons, the new prototypes we've been working with. Hopefully that was a comprehensive tutorial. Made it a bit easier to understand. That's actually the same system as in this, except for it has 2 of those. Oh. And there you go, that's what a misfire looks like. Even though it did technically misfire, the reason those are offset is because it was still detached, meaning that even though it misfired, it fell far enough away from the tank not to do any significant damage. Anyway, hopefully that made sense, and that helped you guys figure out how to make your DFST cannons. Pretty simple, pretty quick. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing. Please subscribe, it helps out a lot. And right now, shares up the channel most. So if you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. I do want to also thank Ad and Captain Bob for being members over on the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.